Here, J.R. Shepherd dives down to the inside, trying to see if he's able to get a little bit of that tack that Brandon Proudfoot has been getting up at the front of the field. 10 laps to go here at Port Royal.
Yeah, not making a huge ground here on Brian. Brian's able to maintain that gap.
And Justin Morton back into second with J.R. Shepherd somehow taking over the lead. I have no idea.
These guys, you see Scott kind of using up all that momentum. Got to enter the corner wide. I expected with kind of cut back low. See lap car down on the inside. George overshoots the corner. Scott puts that car just where he needs to on the middle. It's going to be a drag race through the kick. Thomas George gets loose. Scott Eckridge has the opportunity to come home with a win right now. Side-by-side drag race.
Oh, wow.
Scott Eckridge, 5/1000ths of a second.
After a week off and a belly full of food, thanks to the Thanksgiving holiday, we are now back in action here on the Virtual Grip Network as we set our sights on one of the newer offerings that iRacing has to throw at us. Port Royal Speedway, a paperclip of a circuit. This half-mile dirt track will certainly test these drivers to the utmost tonight. Welcome, everyone, to the Bootleg Racing League's Dirt Street Stock Series live here on the Virtual Grip Network. My name is DJ Clark. Pleased to be joined in the commentary booth by John Hine, with our director Ryan Seneker behind the scenes, and Lowell Jewell, our producer for the night. And John, this is a little bit of a departure from the circuits that we've seen, as we said, a little bit more of a paperclip, a little bit longer straightaways here at Port Royal, but it's certainly going to lead into a fantastic night of racing.
Yes, it is, and it's going to present a unique challenge to these drivers because there's going to be a couple lanes that are going to be optional, but the one that's going to be fast is going to be right out against the wall, and I am telling you, these guys are going to be carrying way more speed than almost anywhere that I can think of getting into these corners, and they're going to have to navigate that without hitting that wall and keep the car, with the new damage model, everything else, these guys could knock the right fronts off these cars real easy. So this half mile is going to provide some excitement here tonight, I believe, and can't wait to get this thing started.
Neither can I, and with 22 confirmed entries here for the night, it also means we're going to have a little bit of bumping going on, and some drivers, unfortunately, going to have to be headed home early. But before we get to any of that, let's go ahead and jump over to your championship standings for this series. It is a pretty closely contested battle up at the top. Hargraves, Northcutt, and Carlisle, all within striking distance of one another to be able to see who will regain the championship at the end of the season. J.R. Shepherd, Chris Davis, John Wilson, Brandon Proudfoot, Jason Best, Zachary Loomis, Bobby Hayes rounding out your top 10, as there we can see the other drivers on the chart working their way down through the order. And those three names up at the top, Hargraves, Northcutt, and Carlisle, those names will be highlighted in that blue over the course of the night, so you'll be able to keep an eye on your championship competitors. There it is. Great action being provided by Ryan Seneker. And, well, with those three drivers, it's going to be a close fought battle, I think, here, John, because we've seen they've been the class of the field this entire season.
Yes, they have, and I don't expect anything to be any different here. This is going to reward guys that are fast, that can really keep their speed up, because even though it's a bigger track, that momentum is going to be just so important here, and those guys have proved all season that they can keep the momentum up in these cars.
Yeah, it's going to be very, very difficult indeed. But now we tip over to qualifying here at this point. And really that has been the conversation over the course of this entire season, John. A new qualifying format. I don't know if we can call it new anymore. But 4 laps out here, and all 4 of them have to be clean. It is an average of your 4 laps, which really puts the impetus on these drivers to put down the best times.
Yeah, it sure does, and like I said, the quick way around this joint's going to be pretty high up. Yeah, I mean, right there, as you can see the 37 there, Zach Loomis, He's up top there, and if you jump that in a little bit and you get that right rear into that wall out there, that's it. You're done. Game over. You're going to go on into the racing tonight without a qualifying time.
Yeah, they should indeed be in that position, as right now we've got drivers out on track. Looks like we're waiting for a couple to show up here. Hayes, Hargraves, Northcutt, Hardin, Shepard, Best, and Carlisle all waiting to put their best laps down. But it is good to see the 22 out here. It's a part-time entry this season, but Brandon Proudfoot setting purple lap times here early on. He is going to be one to keep an eye out for.
Yes, yeah, he absolutely will. And I can tell you, this is what I think. This track is actually in his backyard too, so this is kind of a home deal for him.
We'll have to see if home field advantage is going to play itself out for him or not, as we're still waiting for those first times to come down onto the board. You can see there on your screen that is William Hargraves out on track as he comes across the line. Northcutt setting the fastest sector through the turns 3 and 4, so good laps there for him. Let's see what everybody else is going to be able to do as we just wait for these times to come across the board.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, the 4 laps out here, when you go qualify, and I've done that in a couple of other bootleg racing series, and, as a driver, it puts pressure on you because, you can go, set that bonsai lap, before, and if you made a mistake, okay, gather it up, take another run at it. You could, even if you got into the wall or something, you could just take another run at it to get a time on the board, but that pressure that having everything wiped off, that adds a bit of you got to be a little more, should I say, careful on what you do.
Indeed you do, as right now we've got those first times coming up onto the board. It's Zachary Loomis and Chris Davis, 1 and 2. Hunter Hill going to be in third place. Robbie Robinson, Dylan Corey. Hearing some big news here. Brandon Proudfoot in that number 22 completed all 4 of his laps, but no lap time set down. I think, John, that means that our champion of multiple times may have had a little bit of contact with the wall.
Like I said, risk and reward up there, and but Brandon, but you got the talent there to come back through the field.
Yeah, he certainly does, and we'll have to see as William Hargraves able to put his way up into P2, and his teammate Billy Northcutt now going to be the one who comes up into that top position. A great lap there by Billy with a 23.147. That'll see him up into the top slot right now as we watch J.R. Shepard working his way around right now. He's one of a handful of drivers that has yet to set a time. Let's see what J.R. is able to do here.
Yeah, JR has taken a pretty conservative line here through 3 and 4 here, and not really getting out there on the wall. It's probably going to hurt him a little bit time-wise, but it's solid, and it's going to wipe a time off the board.
Yeah, exactly. And JR, one of those drivers that doesn't necessarily like to rip the lip around here, doesn't like to ride all that high. He prefers to much be down on a lower line here at this point. Bobby Hayes able to put in a fantastic time of P5 there. That'll see him up into that 5th place position with a 23.320. So credit there to Bobby. It looks like we're watching Chris Hill right now try to get a little bit of running here. A lot of drivers, I think, have not been able to qualify here courtesy of those problems. Carlisle continuing to run around here just a little bit, and there he is going to jump up to the top of the charts with a time of 22.846. Ooh, doggy, that is a quick time from Carlisle.
Yeah, that's hauling the mail for these cars here, so that's probably going to stand, I would imagine.
Yeah, I got to agree with you there on that. I think he is going to be very, very quick. Probably provisional pole here goes without saying. I think that's going to hold his pole as we only have about 3 seconds left, and call it checkered flag, because there it is. That is going to wrap up our qualifying session, and just like that, that's going to lead us right into the heat races. Some big fields here tonight, courtesy of this big field that we're seeing coming out of Port Royal. It's going to be Adam Carlisle in P1, followed by William Hargraves. Then it'll be J.R. Shepard and Dylan Corey, John Wilson and Jeremy Akins, followed by Brandon Proudfoot and Braxton Williams. That will round out your 8-car grid here today. And, well, John, as we said, the top 2 automatically advance. Everybody's got to go back Everybody else, rather, has got to go back to the consolation races, so you want to try to get yourself at the top two, but with Carlisle and Hargraves locking down that front row, getting up to those positions is easier said than done.
Oh yeah, a lot easier said than done here, so these boys are going to have their work cut out for them. And then, you know, if you see those two up front there, you automatically almost got to know, okay, they're going to be really tough to pass. Your goals need to shift a little bit. Okay, I want a good starting spot for one of those consies, and preferably a front row, so that means getting in at the third or the fourth position and holding on to it. But if you can get up there and you see a shot, you know, you've got to take it, obviously, to lock yourself in, though.
Yeah, indeed, you certainly have to try to take that shot here as field starts to form up behind the iRacing pace truck here, working their way around. I believe we will have 2 pace laps, unless my information has been a little bit faulty here, as everybody coming down now through 3 and 4. And with a longer track like this, this will give a little bit of a chance to get the tires a little bit more under temperature, get everything working, and just get a feel for where this track is, because that track evolution is going to be something that we talk about quite a bit over the course of this night.
Yes, and it really, really will. And I'll tell you, late in this race, being up top is going to get extremely treacherous. I can tell you, you know, over in 1 and 2, there's a big bump over there, especially up along the wall, right about turn in, and it'll upset the car and throw you in the wall. So those guys are going to be navigating that here before too long.
Yeah, they certainly will, as there the pace truck pulls off down into pit lane, making its way down in. Let's see what happens here for the rest of the field as Carlisle with lane choice will be starting down to the inside, getting ready to get going here for the first heat race of the night. Carlisle brings the field around and gets onto the loud pedal as we get racing here from Port Royal. Brilliant start there from Adam Carlisle. He's going to be able to slot his way up into the lead. He's going to roll up on the high side. J.R. Shepard working down low. Hargraves, and it looks like the number 6 of Dylan Corey going to be working on the high side. Corey getting a little bit slideways coming out of the corner, but he's going to be able to hold things together. He's going to be running side by side for P3 with J.R. Shepard.
Yeah, he sure is, and I tell you, JR, you know, that's what I said, that you try that third and the fourth, but those first 2 guys have kind of, leader especially, has already kind of checked out a little bit.
Yeah, Carlisle up in front of the field, definitely starting to pull away here a little bit. Our best battle back for third position, as it doesn't look like the transfer spots are in much contention here early on in the going. That's going to be John Wilson in that yellow number 75 diving down to the inside. Brandon Proudfoot found his progress a little bit hampered there by Jeremy Aikens. He's now going to make it 3 wide as they come across the start-finish stripe. And here comes Proudfoot down to the inside, trying to throw a little bit of a slider on the 57 of Aikens. He's going to have to check up his momentum, and he's going to lose a spot in the reckoning.
Yeah, definitely you can see it right off the bat. The top side is kind of the way, kind of the place to be, and down there is no man's land, and I suspect that's probably what we're going to see for pretty much the whole night.
Yeah, I got to agree with you there on that, but Proudfoot trying to do what he can. Throws a big old slider there on Jeremy Aikens. Aikens saw it coming, able to move down to the inside there. He's going to be able to clear back by Proudfoot. Proudfoot's got to watch out because Braxton Williams isn't too far behind. Meanwhile, up at the front of the field, it continues to be Adam Carlisle and William Hargraves, Dylan Corey and J.R. Shepard. No change there. Ooh, a little bit of bumping and banging for Brandon Proudfoot as he tries to work down to the inside of Aikens. He's going to throw another big slider, carries a little bit more momentum, but big contact with the wall there for the number 22.
Yeah, this time it didn't hurt him too bad, but it just, you could see it kind of kill his momentum, and had to watch the 57 just of Aikens get real close back to him. But yeah, it looks like the bottom line is just a no-go here as we get the 1 to go, and just gonna have to be up top. And I'll tell you, when those guys have to start pedaling it up there to keep those cars out of the wall, I think you may see some guys try to maybe utilize that middle groove some.
Yeah, I think we may see it as well as Proudfoot actually throwing a little bit of a slider there on J.R. Shepard, but crossing the line is Adam Carlisle, followed by William Hargraves. Then it's Dylan Corey and J.R. Shepard, the first 2 automatically advancing, Carlisle and Hargraves. Corey and Shepard going to be able to hold on to those advancing positions. By the way, there was some contact there between Proudfoot and Shepard on that last lap, but Proudfoot doing the sportsman thing, letting J.R. back on by courtesy of that contact. But that's going to lead us into the heat race number 2 for the night, 2 of 3. It's going to be Billy Northcutt lining up in pole position, followed by Chris Davis, then Hunter Hill and Jesse Steffes. Then it'll be Jeffrey Harden, Michael Mennies, Steven Spies, and Matt Hoos.
And we saw it in the last heat there, being in the back, the track is still really, really fast, and it really maxes these cars out. And think of it almost like a Talladega or something like that over on the NASCAR side of things. Everybody is essentially going the same speed, especially on a track this big. Passing here early on is going to be very, very difficult. So those guys in the back here, like Hoos and Spees, they got a lot of work to do. Very, very uphill climb for those guys. And those guys that are out front that can just go, that's a big advantage here early on.
Well, one thing that we really didn't get a chance to talk about was the lane choice for these leaders. Obviously, that high line is the preferred line around here, but we saw in the last race Adam Carlisle start to the inside. It looks like Northcutt's going to change that up a little bit. Now he's going to start up on the high line.
Yeah, and you know, the straight front stretch here is so long, and even the green flag is almost to the end. I mean, it's almost like Knoxville. You got to get to the end of the straightaway before you cross the start-finish line. It gives you a chance to square up that initial run into turn one, and really, really carry your momentum through there. So I think this is actually a good choice here.
All right, we'll have to see how good of a choice it is with Billy Northcutt and his oft-changing livery. A little bit of lime green out there today that he's going to be running. He comes through turn 4 right now, waiting to control the field and get on the loud pedal as there goes Northcutt. A little bit of squirreliness there for Chris Davis as he tries to get everything locked up underneath him. Hunter Hill not going to be able to capitalize. Is behind Hunter Hill, though. The number 92 of Jesse Steffes is going to get a very good run, and that'll propel him all the way up into third place. Jesse looking pretty strong here early on, and that is Steven Spees down to the inside. Your off-time's teammate there, John, looking like he's had some problems early on.
Yeah, I don't know if he's had a hardware issue or whatever the case might be there. That he just picked up a late model win last night, so maybe he's giving these guys a head start. Who knows?
Yeah, we'll have to see. Is up at the front of the field, we've got a little bit of a battle starting to rage. We've got another battle right here as this is Steffes and Hunter Hill trying to see what they are able to do. Steffes losing time down on the low side. Chris Davis trying to get a little bit aggressive there on your leader as they cross over the stripe here to start lap 3. We ride on board the hood of Chris Davis as he throws a big old honkin' slide job on Billy Northcutt. Northcutt going to look down to the inside, though.
He's going to return the favor down here, slide up here, and I think the slide jobs actually work better down here in 3 and 4 at this track than they do in 1 and 2. For whatever reason, you don't seem to scrub nearly as much speed, and there's usually a little more tack, especially late in the races down there in 3 and 4.
A little bit of bumping and banging, a little bit of how you doing between Northcutt and Davis as Hunter Hill is now starting to get interested in this battle as well. They bring their way down through 3 and 4. We are over the halfway point here in this second of 3 heat races for the night as they come out of turn 4 in single file order. Is anybody going to look down on that slide job line? It looks like Northcutt, Davis, and Hill are all going to keep up to the high line here, just as you've been predicting, John.
Yeah, and like I said, that's the true quick way to get around here, because there's just a little bit of banking up there that will actually help turn the car. It's just a matter of getting through the entry and making sure you hit your marks as we take the white flag. And you hit your marks, you're probably going to be able to keep it off the wall, but if you drive it in even 5-10 feet too far, trust me, you're going to grab that wall.
Yeah, exactly. You've got to be very, very precise if you're going to run the high line. Here comes Chris Davis, though, looking down to the low line. Tries to get that slider to roll. I don't think it's going to fly out for him. He's going to lose momentum. Hunter Hill, big contact into the wall, but it's going to be Billy Northcutt taking victory. Chris Davis, the other car to automatically advance. Hill denied a chance, possibly due to that contact out of turn 4.
Yeah, if he didn't hit that wall coming out of 4, he had that position. He would have beat Davis to the line for sure.
Yeah, I think I have to agree with you there on that one as we now get racked up and stacked up and ready to go racing here for heat race number 3, the final one on the night. It'll be Zachary Loomis in pole position with Bobby Hayes putting in a stellar qualifying to be P2. Robbie Robinson and Jason Best will be row 2 behind them, followed by Joe Segala and Chris Hazlip, and then Chris Hill will round out your 7-car field. Just as it has been in every other race, the top 2 automatically advance. Everybody else has got to go back to the consies. And I've got to think here that we may see Loomis move up to the high side again, as that worked out pretty well last time for Billy Northcutt. And indeed, there goes the 37 up to the high line.
Yeah, on a racetrack that has a front stretch like this where you have all that, the high side is without a doubt a good way to go. You can get a good jump, you keep your car straight, which means it launches really well. You're not trying to come up across the track, which can actually cost you a little bit of speed. And you square up turn one there and off you go. I mean, that top side is so dominant. I don't even know if somebody tries to slide you down there, if they can even get there off the start.
Yeah, we'll have to see as everyone brings their way around right now, trying to see what they are able to do as we get ready to go. Green flag racing in just a few minutes' time. And, well, John, I got to ask you, what can you do to try to get pie around here other than that slide job?
Well, what you can do is I see a lot of guys going to the middle, to the bottom to try to get around the guys. And the best thing that you can honestly do is go in, you see the guys try to hold people down. Well, it's the opposite. You try to hold them up. Get up in that middle lane, crowd them towards the wall, and maybe mess up their timing a little bit. And maybe you got a shot going down the next straightaway.
Well, we'll have to see as here comes Zachary Loomis ready to put the pedal to the floor, and there he goes. He is going to get a very good jump on the rest of the field. It actually looks like Jason Best, the number 47, is going to be maneuver his way to the outside there. Bobby Hayes. Hayes and Best both make big contact there with the outside wall, and then contact with each other down the back straight. Somehow they both keep it going the right direction, and that is going to be Best down to the inside, throwing the slider through 3 and 4.
Yeah, a lot of contact behind him, too, with Segala and Hazlip and them. But, boy, with that battle for second right now, that's that final transfer position. That's probably the most important spot on the track.
Yes, it is. Hayes now throws the slider through 1 and 2. Best able to counter a little bit. He's going to get the run down to the inside. I think we could see a slider swap here potentially. And indeed, that is going to be Best down to the inside. Works it up the track. A little bit of contact there with the outside wall. Got to be a little bit careful about that, as now Bobby Hayes is going to be able to respond. Robbie Robinson rides in 4th place there. He doesn't look like he is really able to catch into this battle, as that's a little bit of a mini slider there from Bobby Hayes, and he's going to be able to keep it ahead here as they go down the backstretch.
And that is exactly what I was talking about. He went in on that middle lane, the little bit higher lane, was able to slide up without breaking a whole lot of momentum. You go to the bottom, by the time you slide up, you just scrape up all kinds of momentum. But that line right there, if you want to pass somebody, that's the way to do it.
All right, well, take notes, fellow competitors. That is the advice here from John Hine, and clearly the advice from Bobby Hayes, who is putting in a fantastic drive here and pulling away at this point from Jason Best, although he clobbers into the wall there coming through turn 3. And one of the things you've got to be a little bit careful about when you run on this circuit, John, is if you throw too late of a slide job through 3 and 4, there is that gap in the fencing that you can kind of find yourself in and going out into no man's land.
Yeah, and it's very easy to do there. You want to, most slide jobs, you want to be in front of somebody before you maybe just right past the apex of the corner, because by the time, if you slide it that late, and it's not just here, but it's anywhere, as we get one to go, if you slide too late, they're already building momentum, and they cross you over and drive you right by you on the inside. So it's not a matter of, I got in front of them. It's where you get in front of them. It's incredibly important. You're absolutely right about that.
As here they come, white flag in the air. It looks like Loomis is going to be able to hold this out, as indeed he will. And Bobby Hayes, the other driver to advance. Jason Best not looking like he is going to be able to make it in, but he will have a good position in the B and C mains, which will be started here in just a few minutes' time. Robinson, Hazlip, Hill, and Segala all also going back to the Consi races. And that's going to bring us right into the C main event here tonight. It's going to be Dylan Corey lining up in pole position with Jason Best to his outside, Mike Menes, and Brandon Proudfoot. A bit surprising to see him there in P4, but he'll still have a little bit of work to do. Chris Hazlip and Jeffrey Harden 5th and 6th, and then Braxton Williams and Joe Segala, and crucially here, the number to keep an eye on is 6. 6 drivers advance on, the other 2 have to go home.
Yeah, and you never want to be able to have to sit and watch your buddies race from the pits, or I'm, back in the hall or on the computer or wherever you might be watching it from at that point. And yeah, I've missed a few races in my time, and then I can tell you, it leaves a bad taste in your mouth for a while.
Yeah, and sure it does. As we wait here for Segala to grid up, that looks like the last driver that we wait for here at this point to be able to get this C main event ready to go. Looks like that top lane's starting to slick in a little bit more. It's going to make things very difficult, and it looks like Segala actually not going to be able to make to the grid, so that's a little bit unfortunate there for the number 81.
Yeah, it is, and that's gonna. I mean, he could probably roll out of the pits, but he'd have to hope for something really, really bad to happen up front there for somebody else, a couple other guys to drop out. But you know, we do have a perennial favorite in this one here, that 22 there, Brandon Proudfoot. That's the guy I'm going to kind of keep an eye on and see what he does and what adjustments he makes on the track here. He wasn't able to come through the pack earlier in his heat race. Be interested to see if he can do so now in this C main.
Well, it's going to be particularly interesting, especially considering Proudfoot's going to be starting up on that sort of preferred lane, that high lane here. Is that going to be able to give him a little bit of an edge on the rest of the field? We will have to wait and see. Dylan Corey, by the way, as you can see on your screens, up onto the high lane here. He is going to be in that high spot position. So that looks to be where everybody is starting off here. Again, 6 drivers will automatically advance on. Only one going to not be able to grid up here. Only one going to be going home from this field, as it looks like Segala, I guess, is in pit lane, but he'll have a lot to do to try to catch up on the rest of this field. But as for right now, they bring their way through 3 and 4 right now. Dylan Corey up on the high side as they get ready to go racing here for the 8-lap C main event. There, Corey gets on the loud pedal, able to get a good jump there over Jason Best, and just as we predicted, Brandon Proudfoot starting to put the pedal down as well. He's going to try to move and hold in right in behind Dylan Corey. Already able to get that move done. Looks to the outside, not seeing anything there. He's going to tuck back into line as they go down the backstretch.
Yeah, and Brandon did what he needed to do there, is get a really good start, and that really locked him into second. They were able to use that momentum on the high side to take over that spot. So now is the challenge to see what can he do. Can he reel in the leader here? And what kind of pass can he make? And big contact back in the field.
Yeah, that was Braxton Williams, I believe, who was on a little bit of a charge there. He's going to find himself back down in 5th place right now. As we continue to go around right here, it looks like I'm having an error on my timing and scoring screen. There it is. It's been able to rectify itself as Brandon Proudfoot was shown as a lap down, and I was going to say that's not right.
Yeah, he was
like he had a little bit of internet.
Yeah, he was blinking a little bit earlier here, and and he does look like he's his quality, but looks like it's coming back up, so maybe it won't have an issue for him here from here on in.
He's going to take a little bit of a look down to the inside there of Dylan Corey as they come off of turn 4. The top 3 running very, very close to one another. Proudfoot, Corey, and Best. Here comes the slider from Brandon Proudfoot, but big contact out of the outside wall, but he's able to keep the momentum and keep the position, move Proudfoot up into P1.
Yeah, and the Corey there it made contact with that wall, and I think that's what really helped Proudfoot there. I think Proudfoot, after he hit that wall, broke his momentum and everything. That crossover would have been perfect right there, but getting into the wall himself just killed that.
Yeah, it certainly did kill that momentum there a little bit, as now we see the top 3 starting to fan themselves out a little bit, but this is the closest battle that we see in the race, with Williams and Hazlip and Menes very, very much spread out there behind. Dylan Corey able to gain a couple of tenths there on that last lap, bringing the gap down to about 3 tenths and setting the fastest lap of the race as he does, as leaders here start on lap 6 of 8. Right, they continue to work their way around right now, and now looks like that gap is starting to grow a little bit for Dylan Corey. Jason Best thought about challenging there as they come off of turn 4, but 2 laps to go here, John.
Yeah, and if I'm in Best's place and Corey's, I don't know how hard I push things at this point. You're locked in. If something happens here, you can be on that outside looking in. So, just kind of let it ride here and just take the spot that you're going to get. At least I would be in my shoes.
Yeah, I've got to agree with you there on that. It's going to be a long feature race here tonight, and just being able to lock into that position can certainly help you. But the white flag is in the air. Jason Best looking a little bit feisty here, thinking about maybe trying to send a move on Dylan Corey. Proudfoot goes down for the slider line. He's going to bring that back up, as does Jason Best, but I don't think Best is going to be able to carry the momentum, and indeed he's going to fall back into third as Proudfoot crosses over to take victory in the C main. Dylan Corey and Jason Best rounding out your top 3. Mike Menes, Braxton Williams, and Chris Hazlip advancing on Jeffrey Harden and Joe Segala, unfortunately, have an early end to their night. Now that is going to reset the field here as we see a couple of the drivers taking a little bit of a victory lap as they go around. We now have a very, very large B main event here with 9 cars. That means 3 of them are going to have to go home. Hunter Hill and J.R. Shepard will be in row 1 with Robbie Robinson and Jesse Steffes there in row 2. Jeremy Akins lines up P5, followed by Chris Hill. Matt Hoos, John Wilson, and Steven Spies bringing up the back of the field. It does look like Spies has been able to grid up here, so that was a little bit of a concern that I had for Steven, that he may have had a terminal issue there in that heat race, but it looks like it has been resolved and he is ready to grid up and have a good little battle here.
Yeah, that'll be, again, I think the track now is starting to lend itself to some passing here. I've seen guys now that have to kind of pedal. Like you'd pointed out that the top there is getting a little slick, so they're not able just to kind of hold it wide open and carry the momentum. So that's now I think you're going to start seeing guys maybe start messing around in that middle lane, maybe even that bottom lane there, and be able to maybe make some ground up here.
Yeah, hopefully be able to make up a few positions here, make our life a little bit more interesting as these drivers continue to get themselves out. Hunter Hill into the catbird seat. Gonna go up to the high lane. No surprises there, John.
No, not at all. Again, you still want to get that car squared up with the long front stretch here. Yeah, that's just absolutely the way to go.
Yeah, it certainly is. Now we see the rest of the field starting to form itself up here a little bit. Looks like Chris Hill's lagging back ever so slightly right now. He needs to be formed up behind the number 57, or alongside the 57 of Jeremy Akins. A little bit of a spin out there, a little bit of a burnout getting done by Hunter Hill. And John, we see that happen quite a bit, but what effect can that really have on these cars when you do that?
Not really any. You know, it's the same thing as weaving back and forth. You're not going to get heat in the tires or anything like that. We don't have a tire model yet that will allow that to happen. But it's fun to do. It's a way to pass the time when you're pacing, I suppose.
Well, all right, there you go. As now Hunter Hill and J.R. Shepard are going to be bringing this field around to green. The number 12 up on the high side, as we talked about a little bit earlier, slowing the field down a little bit as they come out of turn 3 and into turn 4 right now, as we wait for the 12 to get onto the loud pedal. And there he goes. We are racing here, and there they go. J.R. Shepard going to slot right into line. Robbie Robinson goes down to the inside there on Jesse Steffes to see if he's going to be able to get in front of that number 92. I think Robinson's going to have to check up his momentum a little bit. And indeed, the number 5 baiting and banging off of the wall. Contact there in the back, and that's a spin around.
Yeah, and that's going to hang up both Spies and John Wilson there. And that's going to shape up a battle for that final transfer spot, to be honest with you.
No, it certainly might, but in here it looks like at this point, with about an 8-second gap between John Wilson and Matt Hoos, those top 6, it almost looks unattainable here. They're going to have to hope for a little bit of a calamity up farther up in the field. We focus right now on J.R. Shepard, though, currently running in second place. J.R. having to be a little bit out of his comfort zone here at this point. We know J.R. likes to be a little bit more of a bottom feeder, and having him run high, not exactly his comfort zone.
Yeah, but he's got the talent to do it. So JR is one of the most adaptive guys that I know. I mean, he can go out and drive a GT3, an LMP car, come right back in here, be quick, then go over and run an asphalt. JR is, if it's got 4 wheels and it's a race, JR's going to figure it out.
Yeah, he certainly will. He is one of the most talented drivers here in the Bootleg Racing League as they continue to work their way around right now. We focus on Robbie Robinson, who is down 1 position. Jesse Steffes able to get a good run on him and hold on to that 3rd place position as Hunter Hill is going to cross over the line here to take the halfway mark in this race. Drivers continuing to push here. Everybody running up on that high line and not seeing anybody getting a little bit fun. Ooh, that was Jesse Steffes with a little bit of a sideways action there coming out of turn 2. That's going to open up the door here for Robbie Robinson to try to push on him.
Yeah, and those two you know, nothing to be lost here. I mean, they got a pretty big gap, so you could take some chances here to see if you can improve your starting position here.
Yeah, we'll have to see if he is able to do that here at this point. Looking to see here. They're going to be coming to the line here with 2 to go this time by. Ooh, Steffes, big contact into the outside wall. He's going to collect Robinson. Robinson tries to keep it going straight. They're both fishtailing down the main straightaway. Somehow they were able to keep it going the right way. It looks like that's going to be advantage Robinson for now, but my goodness, talk about some car control.
Yeah, and I can tell you, at this point, if I was either one of these guys, I'd be like, you know what, I've had enough throwing the towel in. I'm just going to the main event at this point.
Yeah, exactly. They just have to hold on to that a little bit as they go, but looking to see what they are able to do right now. Here, they're trying to go around, working their way on through on the white flag lap here. Hunter Hill, J.R. Shepard up at the front of the field, bringing the car around here through turn 4 goes Hunter Hill, looking for that advancing spot, and indeed he is going to take victory here in the B main, followed by J.R. Shepard, Robbie Robinson, Jesse Steffes able to hold on to the lines, Jeremy Akins and Matt Hoos will advance. John Wilson, Steven Spees, and Chris Hill have to go home early. A big disappointment there for them, I am sure. But right now, John, it is time for the 5-minute warm-up around here. Drivers get a little bit of a chance to head out and feel how the track has evolved, especially crucial for those drivers that didn't have to compete back in the B and C main.
100%. They're going to have to get their timing down to be able to run the top, but they're also going to need to figure out how to pass. You're going to have to try that bottom line, you're going to have to try the middle line and figure out where you're still strong at. So when you get around somebody, obviously you can't drive through them. You gotta figure out a way around them, and it's going to be crucial to know what your car is doing on that bottom and that middle line. And also, just got a text from Mr. Steven Spees there in his heat race. He timed it wrong and got a black flag for passing on the inside on the start. So that kind of sounds like he cheated and got caught.
I sense a little bit of shade getting thrown there from you, but we'll have to see exactly. Unfortunately there for Steven, that will bring him back farther down in the field, and he will not be able to make the race here tonight. So that is very, very unfortunate for Steven.
It is, and full disclosure on that front, every time I ever do good in qualifying on the pole or front second or something like that, he always accuses me of cheating. So, you know, I got to throw back there at some points.
Well, we'll have to see if Mr. Spees is able to do anything in the later races. Obviously not going to be running here tonight, but looks like, well, no surprise up front. Adam Carlisle setting down some quick times here early. A little bit surprised to see Jason Best having some fantastic runs there. Hargraves Northcutt a little bit off the pace. Hunter Hill taking his advantage from just running that C main. He finds himself up into P5.
Yeah, these guys are, I've kind of been watching. These guys are moving around, so they're going to have a pretty good idea of what they can do, what they can't do when they get started. But you mentioned a little later on, you know, we do got another broadcast tonight. We're going to be in Milwaukee. That should be a lot of fun with those USAC cars, the Silver Crown cars tonight, I believe.
Yes, indeed. We will be at the Milwaukee Mile for the National Sprint Car Trail. You do not want to miss that. That'll be firing off at about 10:30 p.m. Eastern time, if I did my math right on that. I'm obviously on the Pacific Coast, and so that is a little bit of math that I have to do, and never trust a commentator's math live on air.
Yeah, I don't know. You know, I'm not the best in those cars, but I'll tell you, going to one of the oldest racetracks in North America and all the history there, really, really looking forward to going and getting on that track with those cars.
Yeah, always a fantastic time. Always one of my personal favorite circuits to be able to watch a race on. Just now, if we could convince IndyCar to go back there, all things would be right in the world.
I know. And, you know, it used to be the traditional after the 500. That's where they would go. And, you know, my favorite story about that Milwaukee Mile, I think it was in the, like, 63, 64, A.J. Foyt ran the DeCoin Mile a night before in a dirt car and blew up his new Offie And I think that's right when they just started switching over to the rear engine cars. And AJ went to the trailer and unloaded that dirt car, put some shocks and stuff, made a few changes, and went out there and beat all those rear engine cars with that front wheel or front engine dirt car. And I think that's the last front engine car that's won an IndyCar race.
I think you're right about that. And around that same time, I'm not sure if it was 63 or 64, it's one of my favorite stories as well of Jim Clark having to practically bribe Graham Chapman to let him come back after leading the Indianapolis 500 by almost a lap, and the engine blew up. Jimmy wanted to stay in the U.S. for a little bit longer, convinced Colin Chapman to stay an extra week, ran the Milwaukee Mile, and if I remember correctly, Jim won that race by about 2 laps, just proving how good that engineering and that driver combo were.
Yeah, I would love to see those cars back there, and yeah, just like I said, the history. I think that track was built in like 1903. I mean, it is one of the oldest tracks in North America. There, I mean, it was around before the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and I think that was built in 1909. So. Yeah, tonight will be a lot of fun, so definitely if you're watching, come back and watch us there on the asphalt with those Silver Crown cars.
Yeah, come back and watch indeed. That will be there, but we don't have to worry about asphalt running here for another couple of hours because the checkered flag has flown here for the warm-up, and we are ready to get racing for 40 laps around Port Royal Speedway. That is right, the warm-up coming to conclusion here, and it is time for the feature race to take hold and let the thunder roll out here on a Friday night. Let's bring you the starting order for this 18-car field. In pole position, it'll be Adam Carlisle with Billy Northcutt flanking him to the outside. Zachary Loomis and William Hargraves will be in row 2. Then it's Chris Davis and Bobby Hayes 5th and 6th. Brandon Proudfoot starting from only 7th. Hunter Hill lines up P8, followed by Dylan Corey and J.R. Shepard rounding out your top 10.
Yep, starting 11th will be the 47 of Jason Best, and following him, or next to him, will be the 56 of Robbie Robinson. Next row is going to be Michael Moniz and his 32 ride. Next to him will be the number 92. That's Jesse Steffs. Hope I pronounced that right. Next row will be Braxton Williams and Jeremy Akins, and Braxton will be in the 90. Jeremy will be in the 57. Rounding out your field tonight is going to be Chris Hazelip, and look at this. The Hoos is loose. Matt Hoos and number 21. Someone must have relinquished their number. So Matt's going to be in the 21 tonight. He'd been running the 58 for a while. Good to see him back in his original BRL number.
Yeah, good to see him there indeed. As now we bring this field around. And John, it is time to play the predictions game. Who do you have your eye on here tonight?
With what I've seen here in with the track conditions, I think the first 2 rows, I think probably where your winner's going to be, and I'm going to look for either Adam Carlisle or Hargraves. I think one of those 2 guys, because Hargraves will start on the outside here, so I think maybe those top 2 might have an advantage here right off the bat.
Well, we'll have to see if that plays out. My pick is going to be a little bit of a sleeper here. I think we're going to see Brandon Proudfoot be able to slice and dice his way up through the field. If anybody can do it, starting from 7th position, it is the number 22. But as of right now, your top 3 in the top 4 right now in the championship is here. We get ready to go racing. Adam Carlisle going to lead this field around to the green flag. They enter into turn 3 right now. Bringing this field around is the number 15, ready to unleash the horsepower here. A little bit of a lead away there for Billy Northcutt as there goes the green, and we are racing in Port Royal. True to your prediction there, John, it is going to be Hargraves and Carlisle that are able to get a good run on the rest of the field. Proudfoot, or rather, that is Northcutt down low, trying to be able to see what he can do. Bobby Hayes trying to challenge there behind. Proudfoot trying to make moves there in the back.
Yeah, and Proudfoot, I was making ground through the corner there, down low here, and that lane is going to be viable. I think won't be a bit surprised here if we don't see some guys have some success with that. I mean, yeah, I'm looking at both he and Northcutt down there, and that you're going to see some guys down there real fast.
Yeah, I think you are as well. We'll have to see what they are able to do. It looks like Northcutt now trying to be able to see what he can do down on the low side to see if there's any bit of action there for him, trying to challenge his teammate as they dive down into turn one right now. A little bit of contact into the wall there for Bobby Hayes. Doesn't look like it slows him down all that much. Hargrave's going to find himself behind his teammate here as, look at that, Brandon Proudfoot all the way up into P5 already.
Yeah, and he's done it exclusively on the bottom. These guys are slipping and sliding, and they're breaking their momentum because they're hitting the wall up there. That bottom, yeah, if I was behind Brandon, I'm in his tire tracks. I'm down there trying to make it work too. And Northcutt has gotten himself into second using that same line. I can't believe third and fourth haven't gone down there to try to follow suit.
Yeah, I can't believe it as well. Chris Davis was the one that was actually taking your advice there following the tire tracks of Brandon Proudfoot, but he backs off, goes into the high line. Big contact into the wall for Bobby Hayes. He's going to lose the position. Zachary Loomis, with the reaction times of a fly there, able to get that to work. Oh my goodness, I'm amazed he didn't come in contact there, and now Chris Davis going to do a little bumping and banging down the backstretch.
Yeah, and Proudfoot went to the top side and tried it for a corner, and he went right back to the middle down there in 3 and 4. It was up top in 1 and 2, went back to the middle in 3 and 4, and looks like he's going to stay up top over here in 1 and 2, though.
Yeah, it looks like that's exactly what he's going to do. Chris Davis tries to go down to the low side. Bobby Hayes going to roll the momentum up on the high line there. A little bit more contact between the two of them potentially as they came out of the corner. Now they're going to dive down into 3 right now, trying to see what they're going to be able to do. Hayes continuing to roll high. Davis gets sideways. Big contact there. That was Dylan Corey. He got into the side of. Both cars able to continue on. We stay green here at Port Royal. No, there's the yellow. Yellow is Davis and J.R. Shepard collected in it.
Yeah, that was when Davis got sideways there. He had a little help in doing so. He pulled up, and the 13 there had a lot of momentum, and man, oh man. That was an accident that took a long time to unfold.
Yeah, it really and truly did. We'll be able to grab a replay here right now, actually, as there you can see that initial contact with Davis and Shepard. I think Davis was just kind of offline through that entire run, really after coming off of turn 4, and that's what set him back the entire way around. There you can see the contact there with Dylan Corey. Tries to gather it up back up under him. Little bit of contact there with J.R. Shepard. That was just enough to tip the number 98 right around.
Yeah, tough break there for JR, but he should have some time here to recoup here and make a pretty decent run back through the field.
Yeah, I've got to think he will as well. We'll have to see what ends up shaking out here as the field is going to reform here at this point. Waiting to see what they are going to do. Waiting as drivers pull their way around right now. This is going to be coming out of turn 2. Lights are still on the iRacing pace truck here, so we're going to have another lap under yellow flag conditions. And as always here at the Bootleg Racing League, yellow flag laps do not count, so you are guaranteed that full 40 laps of racing action.
Yeah, I like the green-white checkers. I know when we first started using them, I wasn't a big fan of them because I thought, and I still do think guys use it as an opportunity to just drive a little bit beyond maybe their limits. But I can tell you, being up here and not having anything to do on the track, they are sure fun to watch.
They sure are indeed, as we bring their way around right now. Trying to see what they're going to be able to do here at this point as the field is forming its way up, and we are ready to go back to green flag racing as indeed the pace truck scampers its way off down into pit lane, and that is going to bring everybody else into formation. Adam Carlisle once again will lead this field to green, but Brandon Proudfoot now starting on the outside line. What is he going to be able to do? We saw the immediate advantage that William Hargraves was able to get on the drop of the green flag. Is that going to help him out here? Here we go back onto the loud pedal as they bring their way on to turn 1. Northcutt running low, tries to get a slider in front of Carlisle. That's not going to play itself out. Carlisle and Proudfoot able to get a little bit of momentum in contact there between the Dirt Panda teammates of Hargraves and Northcutt.
Yeah, and that killed Northcutt's progress here, so they're going to have to reel these guys back in, but Proudfoot's about to take the lead using the middle down there in 3 and 4.
Yeah, certainly is. Let's see here what he's able to do. If he's able to indeed get it, he's going to do the slide job here, and it looks like Carlisle's going to try to fight back on him, but not able to get it done. Proudfoot back up to the lead of the race. Back up. He started all the way down in 7th position. He is up to the front of the field, but where he is accustomed to being.
Yeah, all the way out of the consies and out of the lead. That's quite a feat here, and he's driven a flawless race here. And now I'm going to be interested to see, though, where is he, since he can control the lines and everything, where does Brandon think it's fastest to get around this track? Is he going to continue to try to use that middle? There he goes.
Yeah, running that middle line here, that's going to be Hunter Hill, who's up 5 positions on the day, and Adam Carlisle running the high side. Almost a little bit more contact there between Northcutt and Hargraves as they came out of turn 4. Very, very close running there between the two. Waiting to see how the rest of this will play out as everybody starts to work their way around. Nice little side-by-side battle between Hunter Hill and Billy Northcutt as they dive down into turn 3 right now. Northcutt trying to get a little bit of an edge. Looks like a little bit of a diamond line there for Adam Carlisle as he desperately tries to be able to gain back in on the back of Brandon Proudfoot.
Yeah, the two leaders look almost pretty even lap time wise, and that's a bit surprising because I tell you, Brandon took that lead, pretty convincingly.
Yeah, he certainly did, and Carlisle certainly keeping up some pressure to the back end of him there. We saw back a little bit of 3 wide in the field. I think that was Dylan Corey, Bobby Hayes, and Jason Best. They've been able to sort themselves out. Now we take a look here at Billy Northcutt, trying to go down to the inside there to continue to defend from Hunter Hill, but Hill able to roll the momentum up on the high side and keep that running here to the best of his abilities. Hargraves also there to maybe put in a little bit of a threat. Carlisle running the high line off of 4 right now, trying to get as much momentum as he can to close in on the back of Brandon Proudfoot. That gap down to about a car length here as they dive down into turn 1.
Yeah, and I think Northcutt could get that bottom to go, but he's got that car kind of yawed out a little bit too much. If you watch Proudfoot when he goes through the middle, Proudfoot keeps that car almost straight. It's a very slight drift, but when Northcutt corner entry, he kind of whips that back out just a little bit, and I think that's really the difference between the two drivers. And I think if Northcutt can get that car straightened, a little bit more straightened, at least on corner entry, I think you'll start to see him get back through. We got caution again.
Yellow in the field. I saw Mike Mennies dropping down through the order, and I believe that is the culprit here on lap 15 as they bring themselves around right now, and we will have our second caution period of the race. Jumping back to check out the replay here, this is actually J.R. Shepard, who is back out on track, and let's see here what happened to J.R. Looks like he pulls it down into the pit lane. That shouldn't be what triggered the caution, I would think.
No, it was Mennies coming out of turn 2. The guy behind him got into the wall, and one of the quirks about this track, if you hit the wall just right in these cars, you will actually gain time and speed. And it looked like that 90, that's exactly what happened. You'll just see him pick speed up after making contact with the wall and got right in the back of Mennies.
Yes, indeed, as there Mennies is going to still be able to carry on here at this point. And we ride on board with Braxton Williams. Williams the one making a little bit of contact there with the rear end of the machine as they continue to go there, working their way on through. And so that was the culprit there, but lights still on the pace truck as we continue on.
Yeah, pretty eventful first half of the race here. We got quite a ways to go. Actually, we're not even halfway through yet, but this track is still going to change a bunch too. I mean, we're starting to see guys kind of bounce off the wall a little bit more. Well, it's going to continue to slicken up here, and Brandon has proven more than one time he's really good at reading the track here, and I would expect that he's going to use this to his advantage the second half of this race.
Yeah, I have to think he will as well, but we'll have to see exactly what they are able to do as the lights are now out on the iRacing pace truck, and we'll bring our way back through. Proudfoot going to be lining up in pole position, and that is going to be a little bit of a hard thing, I think, for anybody to be able to get on by as they work their way around right now, waiting for Proudfoot to get onto the loud pedal. Let's see what he is able to do as they come out of turn 4. Proudfoot gets on the loud pedal there. Hargrave's going to try to follow him on through, get by Adam Carlisle here as they dive down into turn 1.
Yeah, Hargrave's got or not Hargrave's, but Proudfoot got an excellent start there, but Carlisle looks like he might be able to hang on to second here.
Yeah, looks like he is. Northcutt's not going to let it go too easily, but let's see what he is able to do, as it now looks like Hargraves is going to be able to do that, and it's Billy Northcutt now trying to take a little bit of an advantage there as they go. Working their way down through the corner right now, trying to see what they are able to get. The field fanning out. Carlisle running the middle of the track, has to check his momentum to make sure not to get into the side of Hargraves.
He sure was. He's pedaling. I've been in that position. You just like, please don't go up there and hit the guy, and Carlisle did a heck of a job there of getting out of the throttle just enough to make that work.
Yeah, really did make it work there as we check back. Oh, we got a car up into the fence there. That was Zachary Loomis. Loomis able to tow in time, thankfully. And now it's going to be, that's Robbie Robinson also having a little bit of problem. He's going to try to get back around up to speed here. No yellow flag being flown, but that is going to cause a little bit of a problem here for some of your leaders, potentially in the form of lap traffic.
Yeah, lucky this track is wide enough here. You know, if he chooses to get down out of the way or goes up to the track, there's enough. There's plenty of room to navigate around him. So, as long as that lap car is aware that the leaders are coming on you, they can just hold their lane, and the leaders should be able to work their way around them pretty easy.
Yeah, they certainly should as well. So here they go. Proudfoot continuing to lead the race here at this point. Working around Hargraves, Carlisle, Hill, and Northcutt. Northcutt really the one coming off of the bad part of that, but here's Dylan Corey trying to put a little bit of pressure to the side of Jason Best. Contact there between the two as they work their way through turns 3 and 4.
Well, I tell you, the top 4 really followed each other's tracks. It looks like Proudfoot goes low. Well, now they split. You got top 2 on the bottom, 3rd and 4th up top.
Yeah,
and I don't see an advantage to one or the other. It looks like they come back together in about the same spots.
Yeah, it certainly does. Now it looks like the top 3 all sticking to the high line here as they come out of 1 and 2. Let's see if that separates itself out just a little bit as we come down into 3 and 4. They're all going to take that sort of middle lane. I take that back. Adam Carlisle going to work on the high side here, trying to carry a little bit more momentum as they come out of the corner. Here they come working their way around. They've got to keep a little bit of an eye in the rear view mirrors. Hunter Hill isn't too terribly far behind them. All drivers up to the high line here, though, and they're getting closer and closer to Robbie Robinson. So they're going to have to keep their eyes open for that. Ooh, contact there for Hunter Hill coming off of turn 2.
Yeah, these guys are tapping the wall. One wall or the other, either one down to 1, 2, or 3, or 4. Probably, if not every lap, every other lap here. So that top is really gotten treacherous here to navigate.
Yeah, it certainly has. Just absolutely slicking off here at this point. But now here comes Hargraves trying to make a move for P2 right now. He's going to dive down to the inside on Carlisle. Carlisle continuing to run that preferred high lane through 3 and 4. Robinson trying to stay out of the way. Hargraves able to get the move done. He is going to hold on to that second place position here, but Carlisle trying to fight back a little bit around the lapped car of Robbie Robinson. Throws a little bit of a slider, and look at that. Where does the time go? We're already on lap 25 here, over halfway done in this race.
Yeah, they're clicking them off here real quick, and boy, you know, now you see 3 out of the 4 up top here, and they're searching. I mean, these guys are looking for the fast where to get an advantage here. So you're seeing it in real time. These guys are trying to look around, look for a faster way, because they feel like they're probably getting to the wall a little too much if they stay up top.
Yeah, trying to see what they are able to do here as we look a little farther back in the field. Some contact, some argy-bargy as they go. That looked to be Dylan Corey, Bobby Hayes, and I believe Braxton Williams as they go, trying to see what they are able to do. Bobby Hayes running that middle line right now, trying to work his way on through. No luck here at this point, but he's going to continue to ride in the middle lane. This is Dylan Corey trying to close down on Billy Northcutt. Northcutt having a pretty rough day out there, it has to be said. He's down 4 positions.
Yeah, and this is a track, too, that, you know, it's a fast track. It's so easy to get yourself in trouble, whether it be really hitting the wall hard and damaging the car, or if you're in the pack early on, if somebody has a problem, like what we saw in that that B main when Hunter, or not Hunter Hill, but I think it was Chris Hill that caught the wall and collected Spies and Wilson. It was just one of those, I say this before, but it's one of those where if you see it, you're probably in it with the speed you go around here.
Yeah, exactly. As here we focus on Hargraves now working down to the low side on Carlisle. Carlisle able to carry the momentum up on the high side. He's going to be able to take that away. We get closer and closer to lap 31, and that is the crucial crossover point where if we have a yellow, knock on wood that we will not, that it will be a single file restart around here. So that's a pretty crucial marker to keep in mind. Carlisle now fully clear here of William Hargraves as he continues to work his way around, trying to see what they are able to do. Proudfoot growing the gap up to about 4 car lengths here as they now dive down into the corner. Brandon Proudfoot running now what looks to be the low line down through 3 and 4. Wow, that was a little bit close between Carlisle and Hargraves, but both drivers able to keep things nice and easy.
Yeah, and Proudfoot's doing a good job of using that bottom there. He's rolling out, letting the car roll through the center, and I actually think Proudfoot's quicker down there than what the other guys are for sure down there. But I think he's quicker down there than the other guys are up top, you know, bouncing off the wall.
Yeah, I certainly think so as well. As again, there goes Hargraves getting very, very slideways coming out of the corner. We are on lap 32 right now, and now that gap is reduced down to about a car length in between Proudfoot and Carlisle. We could have a little bit of a race on our hands up for the lead.
Yeah, it sure looks that way. They look pretty even through 3 and 4. I think Proudfoot's a little better than these guys 3 and 4, but 1 and 2 both. Carlisle and Hargraves, I think, are better than Proudfoot down here at this end of the track.
Yeah, I think they are as well. So here they go, trying to see what they are able to do. Lap 33 about to be lap 34 around here. Hargraves now working up on the hind line, trying to see if he's able to carry that momentum. Is he going to be able to avoid contact with the outside wall? Yes, he is, but it's not going to gain him any ground here on Adam Carlisle. Carlisle continues to try to close down on Proudfoot, but as you said earlier, Proudfoot just looks like he's shot out of a gun coming out of 3 and 4, or out of 1 and 2, and is able to grow a big, big advantage on the field.
Yeah, if I'm Carlisle, well, I've got about 5 laps going here. I'm going to run that normal line over there in 1 and 2, try to close up like normal, and just once, I would probably follow the tracks of Proudfoot to see if I could stay with him. And see right there, he's right up on him. That's going to open an opportunity to pass. He's just got to be able to maintain the distance here down here in 3 and 4.
And we'll have to see here. He's now going to jump up to that high line, trying to carry a little bit of momentum out of 3 and 4. Let's see if he's able to do it as they come across the stripe here to start lap 36. 5 laps to go. That is the smallest gap that I have seen here at this point. And now as they come down, it only looks to be about 2 car lengths here. Carlisle is clearly doing something well.
Yeah, but the problem is Carlisle, watch when they come out of 3 and 4 here. Proudfoot's going to have a little bit of breathing room right here. But then Carlisle slowly catches him down this front stretch. But when he gets here, right where he catches him, his options are limited. He's going to scrub all his momentum here. Proudfoot's going to cross him under, run the bottom, and take the lead back down here in 3 and 4.
Yeah, we'll have to see here. There they go, trying to see what they are able to do. Carlisle trying to carry down momentum. He is going to be able to draw alongside Proudfoot. There, he got it. Wow, proving you wrong there, John.
Yeah.
I never would have thought he could do that, but Carlisle up into the lead of the race.
Yeah, Proudfoot has been really fast down there. I'm stunned that didn't hold serve down there. He's got to go back down there again. We got a caution.
Caution out on the track right now, and that is going to set up a thrilling end to this race with only about 3 laps to go. My goodness gracious. Oh, you couldn't ask for a more interesting way to finish things up than this, a 3-lap shootout as we go back to check out what exactly happened. Looks like this is Billy Northcott, the culprit here. Oh, big contact there into the outside wall, got turned around, and big ka-thunk there behind him.
Yeah, he caught the end of that wall that you pointed out earlier in the race. That kind of sticks out there, and yeah, that was big.
Yeah, here's Braxton Williams, who just appears to have a magnet on the front of that car as he gets involved in yet another collision here today. And there you can see Dylan Corey, the other car, also involved in that. That was just a big domino effect really coming down the straightaway there for everybody.
Yeah, that's a tough break there for Northcutt. I mean, this is one of the rougher nights we've seen for him in a while, though. And it's racing. You're bound to have him from time to time, and Northcutt's a guy who hasn't really seen that many of these, so it's kind of new territory for him to kind of be a little bit back in the pack here.
Yeah, it is a little bit new territory, but well, we've got to focus on the task at hand. Up at the front of this field, single file restart. Let's not forget, Proudfoot behind Carlisle. How's he going to be able to get that jump? How do you defend if you are Adam Carlisle?
If you're Carlisle, you got to get a perfect start. Hit your marks, get through turns 1 and 2 as clean as you can, as fast as you can. If you're Proudfoot, you want to be able to get just as good of a start, be on his bumper all the way down, and maybe try to slide him down in 1 and 2, or at the very least, because Proudfoot really likes the bottom down there in 3 and 4, stay on his bumper all the way through 1 and 2, and then down in 3 and 4, give that bottom a try to see if you can't make a move.
Yeah, we'll have to see indeed. The iRacing pace truck pulls off down into pit lane. Let's see, Carlisle going to move down to the inside line here as they go. He's going to get onto the loud pedal here. A little bit of a kerfluffle there in the back as Billy Northcutt looks like he had a little bit of a hard run. As here they go, working their way now down through 1 and 2. It looks like a great getaway there for Adam Carlisle. He's going to build up a gap of about 3-4 car lengths.
Yeah, and that's, I'd say this is Carlisle's to lose here now at this point.
I think it is as well. Let's see if he's going to be able to hold on to it as they go, trying to see what he is able to do. It is 1 lap to go here for these drivers. 1 lap to go, and Carlisle streaking out into the lead here. No question at all. The gap over a second as they dive down into 3 and 4. Adam Carlisle going to bring this car out of the corner, and he is going to take victory at Port Royal. Brandon Proudfoot with a fantastic drive to come up through the field. Finishes P2. William Hargraves in P3. My goodness gracious, John.
What a finish. And I'll tell you, this is a track that you can go all Ross Chastain in, and didn't see anybody do it. I was kind of wondering if anybody would try it, because in these street stocks you can do it.
Yes, indeed. And that's going to lead us to a quick break here on the Virtual Grip Network. But do not go anywhere, because we will be back with the final finishing order as well as driver interviews after these quick break messages.
Pretty good start there for Justin Anderson in the 73 truck. That's Brian Young to his outside. And then number 86 truck.
You could have a bad night for sure and lose that big money. So got to be smart throughout this race. We've still got 113 laps to go here.
Certainly two-wide battle here between the 89. Whoa, almost contact between the Johnny Benson throwback and the Matt Kenseth throwback, that being Gael Brooks in the 71 car on the inside, Brian Young in the 89 car on the high side. That time by, he almost did a pump fake, did Brian Young. He gets a pretty good restart, not quite as good as he did last time by. This time Blake Trawick is single file right along with Brian.
This is the world's premier online racing simulation. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat from your home computer with the most realistic online motorsports experience you'll find anywhere. Race virtually in the world's biggest events with officially licensed series, cars, and tracks. From the high banks of Daytona to the blistering speeds of Indianapolis, the dirt of Eldora to the world's most legendary road courses. It's all here, and with more than 180,000 people just like you already driving, you'll always have someone to race. Ready to get behind the wheel? Sign up at iRacing.com to get started.
Welcome back to Port Royal Speedway. You just saw a thriller of a finish with Adam Carlisle able to take victory over Brandon Proudfoot and William Hargraves. Hunter Hill, Jason Best round out your top 5 with Bobby Hayes, Dylan Corey, Michael Menes, Jeremy Akins, and Braxton Williams rounding out your top 10. Then it was Hazlip, Robinson, and Steffes. The big story of the day, though, one of your championship hopefuls, Billy Northcutt, finding himself back down in 14th. So that is probably going to put him out of the championship hunt. Zachary Loomis, Matt Hoos, J.R. Shepard, and Chris Davis rounding out your field. But we go here now to your pole sitter as well as your victor, Adam Carlisle. You were able to take the victory from pole, but that wasn't the tail of the tape. It looked like a pretty fearsome one out there for you.
Yeah, my my arms are like Jello after that one. Just you got to run that track. Just with that top group the way it is, and there really being nothing on the bottom. Just you really got to elbow up on that track to get anything done for sure. That was a wild one.
It was a wild one indeed. And talk to me about having to choose the lanes here as you go. It looked like you were really having to jump back and forth between running high and running low.
Yeah, I mean, I've ran this track enough. I kind of have an idea what the high group will do here. And there's, like I said, there's really nothing on the bottom. But I was trying to pick apart like what was in the middle. Like if I needed to go in for a slide, you really got to slide hard on this track because of how tight the apexes are on the bottom. So this track's like playing a chess game for sure.
Well, playing a chess game for sure, but I'll tell you what, we wrap up the season next time out at Knoxville, a little bit more of a just straight grunt power track. How do you like your chances there?
I like Knoxville. It's a fun track. I always have fun racing there. I think it'll be another good race, man. It's coming down to the last race of the season, so it should be exciting.
It should indeed. Adam, a great run for you out here today. Who makes this possible?
Yeah, I want to thank House of Speed and all our House of Speed guys, our whole team over there. Definitely want to thank JC Floyd for all the help he gives everybody, and myself for sure. Jordan Gage Motorsports, Kyle Jarrett, Dylan Hauser. You guys, I say it every week, man, you guys for doing the broadcast and the commentary. You guys do a great job, and I always enjoy going back watching it. Lowell does a great job with putting everything on, all the behind-the-scenes work, so I certainly appreciate him and everything the BRL does, and I'm looking forward to sticking around if you guys will have me.
Well, we'd love to keep having you back. That was Adam Carlisle, your winner here tonight. And it looks like now, John, you've been able to catch up with the number 22, our second-place finisher, Brandon Proudfoot.
Hey, Brandon, this is John. You got a copy?
Yep, I got you.
Well, my friend, what a nice run through the field you had there. And, 38 of the laps you look faster than 38 of those laps you look faster than those guys on the top being on the bottom over in 3 and 4. Did that just go away the last few laps, or were you doing something different, or do you think that top just came back?
It was starting to a little bit. As far as the speed up top, 1 and 2, it dropped off about 0.2. It was still quicker. 3 and 4. I tried it once or twice, and the deltas just weren't there, and frankly, at the end, to be honest, I know I'm usually a pretty uppity guy, but I just seen a blatant wall ride on those last 2 laps, and there's, I'm gonna let the review team look at it, but in my opinion, I heard a lot of wall crunching when it was coming up to me. He did a clean slider, there was nothing wrong with that, but I think, I understand this track's a little bit difficult to not be on the wall, but whenever you get on it, in my opinion, I think you should lift off and get off of it. And I'm not sure what he did to catch up to me. I know I had a little bit of a gap there for a while running that bottom, but I know those, after the caution for what I could see, I pretty much had my answer right there for you, John.
Well, when you went out and practiced before the race there, was that bottom down there, was that something you discovered in practice, or was that something you discovered in the race?
A little bit of both. It's mainly track knowledge. Whenever you go out at the start there, when the track's not clean, give or take about 2-3 tenths at any point on the track. And you can kind of use that as a marker throughout the night to where Beginning of the race, obviously there's a little bit of tire fall off with the tire pressures, but depending on where you run, you can run the top, bottom, middle, and you can kind of get yourself baselines or a table to go off of. And once you reach, let's say you ran a 23.4 when you ran the bottom at the beginning of the night, and maybe a 23.6 in the middle, so on. And you reach that point whenever you're running the actual fast line, it makes your brain tick like, okay, I'm running the times I was running on the bottom at the beginning of the night. And you just kind of figure in your math in your head as well as experience, and just see, okay, is that line possibly there? And then if you feel like you have an opportunity, try it out and see if it sticks. And if it does, well, you got your answer.
Certainly. Last question I have for you. A little bit earlier on, I mentioned that I think this might be kind of a home track for you. Or you're nearby this track, aren't you?
That is correct. About an hour and a half.
Very well. Do you see it race in real life, kind of like what it does here, the top and 1 and 2, bottom 3 and 4, or is the grooves a little bit more open, should I say? You can run anywhere.
Definitely a lot more open. The real life Port Royal, there's a lot more moisture in the track because the track doesn't have a lot of banking, to where normally at high bank tracks like Charlotte, Eldora, all that moisture will roll down to the bottom. And for Port Royal, it's got that little bit of a curb right at the top for 1 and 2, and 3 and 4, it's relatively swept. It's pretty smooth all the way up to the wall. So 3 and 4 will kind of start out on the bottom just because it's so tacky. And in real life, you have those marbles, which real life drivers would know about so much, where it just feels like you skate across them, and relative to missing a rubber line on a NASCAR road course or F1 course, if you miss that rubbered line, you'll notice a little bit of a push or even looseness depending on how your car feels. But with Port Royal, it's a lot more heavy. So while, yes, the top line eventually does get there, it usually starts in the middle, and as that line starts to work up, and kind of like how you see in 3-4 tonight, it'll break down, and eventually that bottom line will come back in. But you'll specifically have more of a split line more than it is kind of just the top clipping off.
Gotcha. Well, my friend, good run here tonight. Hopefully we see you next week at Knoxville. Anybody you want to give a quick shout out to?
General Tire, Rigid, Next Level Racing for the team sponsors, and then the personal sponsors, Crafted, Jim Beaver Esports, Rugged Racing Engines, and Steve Gates. I'd like to thank you guys here at Virtual Grip Network for doing the broadcast, and Paul and all the guys do stuff in the background for the league here, Bootleg Racing League, fiance, friends, and family that root me on. Thanks, guys.
Awesome. Have a good week, Brandon, and like I said, hopefully we see you next week.
That works.
Well, that was Brandon Proudfoot, your second place finisher here tonight, and that is unfortunately going to about wrap up our coverage here tonight from Port Royal. But as you heard us say, tune in next week, same time, same channel, as we head to the series decider at Knoxville Raceway. Then also, if you are in the mood for some good racing action, the BRL National Sprint Car Trail heads to the Milwaukee Mile tonight at 10:30. You are not going to want to miss that one, folks, as you also get to see a certain commentator named John Hine out on track in that. But on behalf of everybody else out here at the Virtual Grip Network, it has been an absolute pleasure to bring you the racing action today. And on behalf of myself, DJ Clark, as well as John Hine, Ryan Seneker, and Lowell Jewell, until we see you on the track, thanks for watching.